Hi, my name is Nathan, and today we're going to do a full comic book review of Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunter, issues number 1 through 5. If it's your first time here, consider subscribing. Also, timestamps will be in description if you want to go from issue to issue, and link in description if you wish to purchase a comic book to support the art, support the industry, and support the comic itself. With that being said, let's get to it. Book, we start off in a classic Star Wars fashion. Who the heck would deal stir from one of the galaxy's most notoriously dangerous bounty hunters? This single act, this is gonna change the game, man. So we open up with Han Solo and Carbonite, and in deep space, the Vermilion, where the Vermilion enters into this docking area, we see this hooded individual welcoming back Margot and Trinia. They said Solo could have stayed alive in there apparently for years. The hooded individual asks, is he conscious? What for? I don't know. The important thing is that it sounds like Solo will last in there long enough for their purposes. But of course, Trini or Margot, I'm not sure which one's which, asked the hooded individual one more thing. We took him from the doctor's office, but the doctor was working for someone else in the matter. And the hooded individual's like, yes, I know, Boba Fett, the notoriously effective bounty hunter. Yes, I know. He's good, but he's only one man, and we're all this, you know? So what's he gonna do? He's welcome to try. Meanwhile, in Nar Shaddaa, in a bar, Boba Fett's like, he's pissed, like someone's gonna die. Bartender's like, well, what difference does that make from every other day, Fett? Is this someone special? They stole from me. It ain't credits. It's a bounty, and I went through a lot of trouble to get. So the bartender's like, so someone ripped you off. If they knew it was your bounty, either they're tough as hell, or they're too stupid to know not to steal from me, bruh. Meanwhile, we see these two youngsters. They look like young bounty hunters, Tekrit and Alita, and they receive some kind of transmission, and that transmission is the bounty of Boba Fett. And Tekrit's like, man, this is one of the biggest bounties I've ever seen. This could set us up for life. Boba Fett says, my bounty was stolen from Doc Ragan's clinic, and that's a busy district, so someone must have saw something. That's his first clue on trying to solve all this. In the reflection glass, he noticed he's being snuck up behind, so Boba Fett, quick with the reflexes, turns around and blasts him with the rifle. Who's stupid enough to try to come at you from behind? Boba Fett just brushes it off like, hey, it could be money, it could be reputation, it could be anything. So he goes out and sends a transmission to Jabba the Hutt saying, hey, I got a bit delayed, but I'll deliver the package, which is Han Solo, as agreed, won't be a problem. Ends the message, goes into his ship. Boom! Gets exploded on, and Zukas ambushes him like, hey, you better stay down if you want to survive the next few minutes. Boba Fett's like, man, you booby trapping my ship? That's low. Zuka's like, hey, man, we're bounty hunters, you know. We live in the low. Now stand up because I have some questions for you. Boba Fett blasts off his rocket. Zukas moves out the way, and Boba Fett's like, hey, man, I thought you could predict the future. You should have seen that coming. And Zuka's response is, actually, Boba Fett, I did. That's why I called for backup. Say hello to Elohim. Robot cricket-looking mofo comes up behind Boba Fett, and they're like, look, man, Boba Fett's like, there's no bad blood here. There's no bad blood here. You said you had some questions, well, ask away. So not only they told you went in your ship to look for Han Solo, we know you have him stashed somewhere, and tell us where you're keeping him. So Boba Fett feels disrespected, man. Not only you hurt my ship, you went inside? Boba Fett's like, bro, that belonged to my dad, and how dare you? So he blasts off in his rocket, and the ship pistols blast off against Zukas and his partner. Zukas is hanging on the edge, and right before Boba Fett comes up to him like, hey, man, you about to pay for this, he begs, saying, no, please, you know, I will tell you your future. Everything I see is in red, and the sea of red you're drowning in. He's like, not interested, get out of here, you know. So he takes Cricket Man's head, Elohim's head, who's all machine anyway, plugs him into his ship to get information out of him. And it turns out the information transmitting from his head to Boba Fett is a bounty was placed on him, and the contract's open to anyone and anyone. So Boba Fett's like, who's crazy enough? Everyone in the galaxy knows not to come after me. Now that everyone's in the galaxy will come after me, who did this? Who set this bounty on him? So right before he can announce who the client is, Boba Fett takes his ship to Tatooine, the place of Jabba the Hutt, and he is pissed. So he goes up to Bib Fortuna, who's like a diplomat, but a snake at the same time. Like, hey, man, there's no need for hostilities. You know, just tell us what you want. We can end this with no gunfight, no harm, no foul. It doesn't have to be. This does not have to lead to violence. And Boba Fett's like, wrong, baby. Boom, boom. Like, unleashes an attack on the brother. Bib Fortuna's like, look, Jabba will feed you to the Rancor, or worse, he will give you to the Sarlacc in the pit of Carcoon, where you'll be digested. Look, man, I ain't trying to hear all that. I just want information. Jabba put a bounty on me, not Solo. Why? That's what Boba Fett wants to know. So Bib Fortuna tells him, you were taking too long, and we thought you sold Solo to somewhere else. And Boba Fett's like, no, he was stolen from me. Where is Jabba the Hutt? I need to clear this up now. Meanwhile, we see Jabba the Hutt in his ship having a dialogue about the new Crimson Tide, emergence. And I'll let you guys read this. It's just pretty much in a nutshell saying, hey, what if they're a threat? If they are a threat, we'll be ready for them. But also it sets up for further storylines down the line. Jabba got an invitation. That's where Boba Fett tells Bib Fortuna, who stole Solo from me? So now Jabba the Hutt's reinforcements come up, and Boba Fett gets into a true gangster moment. Like, all right, all of you want to live, right? But I promise, if you fight me, some of you will die, maybe most of you die, but you'll be dying for him. That doesn't seem fair. So realize, like, we're gonna die. We ain't dying for this brother right here. So all these other reinforcements get out the way, and Boba Fett says, I want to see this invitation. In the hologram display, we see the hooded figure from before saying, Jabba, most of the exalted of all Hutts are invited to be present alongside representatives of the great galactic power to witness the return of the Crimson Dawn. We do not wish to antagonize or cause friction or upset existing arrangements. We only wish to engage with galactic society and do business to prosper. You will find that we can be a very useful organization, and as a sign of goodwill, the particular prize is a carbonated Han Solo. This is where Boba Fett's like, so Crimson Dawn is back and stole Solo out from underneath me to impress Jabba? Bib Fortuna's like, it appears so. Bubba's like, nah, this ain't gonna happen. What you're gonna do is you're gonna repair my ship, and then I'm flying to Jakara and getting my property back. But Bib Fortuna's like, even if Crimson Dawn is diminished in its current state, you are only still one man. And Boba Fett's like, no, I'm Boba Fett. I said at the beginning of all this, someone was going to die. Now I know who. Gotta, leave some meat on the bone here. But the reason why Han Solo is important, because whether you love, the hooded figure says whether you love him or hate him or need him, you owe him or you owed by him, Han Solo unites the galaxy. And that's exactly what we need right now. And as promised, I gotta leave some meat on the bone. And at the end of the book, it does show the reveal of who the hooded figure is. As I gotta say, I am interested and intrigued to see where this comic book issue goes. In issue number 2, we start off with Boba Fett claimed the bounty of notorious smuggler and rebel officer Han Solo. But Solo was stolen from Fett on Nar Shaddaa by the Crimson Dawn. Now Crimson Dawn seeks to offer Solo up to the highest bidder of the galactic underworld. But not if Fett has anything to say about it, because we all know you don't mess with Boba Fett. Lady Kira is pleased on the Vermilion, and she tells Margot that, and she's overlooking this galactic party of everyone just awaiting and what's about to happen. Laura Giatti, it tells them that, hey, we believe that the Crimson were defeated, dissipated, and broken, and the remnants were absorbed. But now it seems like they're back as strong as ever and rich. Now, other people are like, do we trust the Dawn? Do we not trust the Dawn? Maybe yes, maybe no. But they've always been cagey. But we received the invitation, and we were implied this would be a private meeting. But look around, every syndicate in the galaxy is here. Even the blasted Empire, and even Minister Moore and General Rhodey are there, overlooking things like, okay. But then again, even though this is kind of sus that this is happening, what they're offering is perhaps worth it and brings other opportunities and possibilities as well. And Minister Moore senses it. Now the Hutts, especially Baku, is just pissed, feeling that he's disrespected and they're being dishonored, offering everyone everything around here when they should be the one that should get first dibs. That's what he's pissed about. Jabba's like, all right, Baku, just, have a drink, relax. We will see what comes of all this. And Baku just looks at him like, oh, yeah, like he's just not having it. But then again, he comes to his senses and thinks, well, I wonder how the Crimson Dawn acquired their prize. They got it from Boba Fett. Either they bought it or they took it. And if they took it, I want to be around and watch the fireworks. We see Boba Fett outside the Vermilion looking in, to see how he can case his point of entry, but it's well guarded. Then these three guys in these robes are talking about their invitation, how lucky we ever received the invitation. And you know what? We're not big players, but you know what? The Crimson Dawn, we won't let this opportunity pass us by. This is our shot of the big time. And then Boba Fett's like, huh? Well, hey, you know, I'm gonna need that invitation. And this brother's like, what? And your cloak, Boba Fett asks. And then a grappling hook swirls around Boba Fett, trips him up, and it's Bosk. And he tells him, hey, Jabba has this is some questions for you. He's offered a bundle to anyone who brings you in. I guess you're gonna miss the party. You should know better than to mess with Boba Fett, because he's like, all right, it's cold out here. Let's warm this up. Blast off the fire blaster, uncuts the grappling hook, blasts a rocket to Boss. He ducks out the way, but the explosion is so powerful and so nearby, it explodes like the lower part of his leg off, and he can't even walk. And Boba Fett's like, ha! You won't get far without your legs, boss. And he's like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. They'll grow back. What now, Boba Fett? We've known each other for a long time, since you was a young, just a little clutchling trying to avenge your pop. Wah! You gonna kill me? Why you gonna tease him like that? Boba Fett tells him, no, I'm not gonna kill you. I just want to send a message for anyone who tries to come after me. And Jabba's bounty. This is a message. Bosk knows what's up. So Boba Fett straps him and ties him against the rock. He's like, you can't leave me out here. I'm cold-blooded. I won't survive. Boba Fett responds with, funny you say that, because the funny thing about that, so am I. Meanwhile, on the part of these thieves, Sana and APHRA are just in the party looking around. They're like, you know what? This is an interesting party, because it's only a matter of time before this whole thing explodes. Everyone in this room has double-crossed everyone in this room. And this is interesting. So they're waiting for this thing to go down and relaxing and having a drink. And then a weird, mysterious guy in a cloak grabs her by the wrist and says, you're APHRA? I don't know who you are, but you better get up off of me. And this mysterious guy in the cloak tells her, tell your friend to get her hands off the blaster. And then he lets go, because that's not a good gesture. I'll let go first, just get your hands off the blaster. And the mysterious guy in the cloak asks for help, a distraction, you know, a diversion. They're like, okay, are you like a clone soldier or not? No, I'm someone you want on your side. And they're very suspicious about helping him out. So this man in this cloak tells him, I'll make this quick. You help me, or I'll tell the Crimson Dawn that the notorious thief Chelly APHRA is scoping out their headquarters. I'm sure they have lots to say about that if everyone here doesn't tear you to pieces first. So like, whoa, okay. What do you need us to do? When I trigger this comm button, distract the guard, I only need a few seconds. Now we know it's Boba Fett up in there that wants to cause a diversion to reclaim his prize, Han Solo in Carbonite, that Jabba the Hutt commissioned him first. But now the Crimson Dawn stole it from him, and it's just like, and now Jabba placed a bounty on the brother? That's just shady, man. So now Lady Qi'ra is about to begin the bid. She's like, we have Captain Han Solo here. Everyone knows who he is. He owes a lot of credits to everyone in his room. So he may want to take him in and put him on your wall, have him work off, paying off what he owes, or just shoot him. Let's start the bid off at 100,000 credits. And everyone knows this is about to be a party. People are starting to outbid another. People who can't even afford it start outbidding. And even the Empire is like, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to touch these weak-minded fools. No more bids. And he tries to use the Force on him. But Jabba the Hutt, he's too strong. He's like, no, 200,000 credits. Even Boba Fett's like, damn, that was more than what you was going to pay me. 250,000 credits. And then they're like, no, more, 400,000. F it. 1 million credits. And even General Modi's like, what happened, bruh? I thought you said no more bids. Well, apparently the Hutts are too strong-willed. Like, so right before the auction can conclude and Boba Fett's about to do his thing, and the comm button start to beep, and they know, okay, we need to do something to distract them. So here it's about to go down. It's not about to be an entire shootout show. This is about to be epic. And then Darth Vader comes in and says, wait a minute, I'm here. Captain Solo belongs to me. And Boba Fett's like, oh, I gotta stand back on this one, but we will see. And that's how we end Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters, issue number 2. Let's start off with this issue, what we know so far. Boba Fett claimed the bounty of Han Solo. Han Solo was stolen from Boba Fett by the Crimson Dawn and their leader Qi'ra. Now at the auction, Darth Vader is claiming Han Solo and is about to be a party, y'all. Darth Vader came into the auction with swag, giving instruction to transport Han Solo, who is in Carbonite, and anyone who interferes, kill them. Jabba the Hutt tells Darth Vader with great respect, I already claimed Han Solo. Boba Fett is at a distant location, unseen, watching all this go down as he tries to plot how he's going to retrieve his bounty, Han Solo. Chewie's instructed to take down Boba Fett quietly as to not draw attention from Darth Vader. I wonder if Chewie's going to let out a little Chewbacca sound during the fight, like... Anyways, Chewie goes in and chokes Boba Fett, lifting him up to show his superiority. He is reminded by Lando to take down Boba Fett quietly. Speaking of being reminded, Jabba the Hutt reminds Darth Vader that he had the winning bid of 1 million credits to Han Solo. Lord Vader also reminds Jabba that he won the bid, but not the Empire. Jabba is a bad man in terms of being a galaxy gangster, but this is Darth Vader we're talking about. You don't fight the Sith, you just let it happen. Darth Vader would turn his ass from Jabba the Hutt into Jabba the Butt if he doesn't let it go. Darth Vader reminds him once more who is in control. Speaking of not letting go, we are back to Chewbacca still choking Boba Fett. Tempted to shoot Boba with the blaster, Lando recognizes that Boba would have used his blaster by now too to escape Chewie's grasp. But since no one wants to draw Darth Vader's attention, they have to fight hand to hand, and the smart money would be on Chewie. Skipping over a few pages of dialogue with Jabba and Lord Vader here, I loved how Boba's desperation is clearly visible, and though I dislike the notion of lighting Chewbacca on fire with the flamethrower, after giving it some thought, this is really smart writing, and the only play here is to get out of the vicious grasp of Chewbacca, light his ass on fire. The interesting thing everyone at this juncture wants is Han Solo for different reasons. Boba just wants Solo to claim his bounty and get his reward from Jabba. Despite Jabba double-crossing him, Boba Fett is still strong in his principles. Even though the rebellion offered Boba 1 million credits to help them get Han Solo, which is the same amount Jabba commissioned Boba for to retrieve Han Solo, it doesn't matter. Boba has to abide by his code. Okay, I mean, I can put some respect on that. Solo is the bounty, and Jabba is the client. Despite being double-crossed by Jabba, Jabba's getting a taste of his own medicine from Darth Vader. Now here's my absolute favorite part of this issue that seals the deal for me. This part is well worth the purchase of this issue. Qi'ra makes her way downstairs, letting Vader know that he may take Han Solo and no one is going to stop you. But there's still the matter of the 1 million credits, and somebody has to fulfill the obligation. I love how you have to show the height and dominance here between the two. Vader ain't having none of it and says, "You are owed nothing. Situation diffused, right?" Nuh-uh. Qi'ra pokes this mofo with her response. Oh, is the Empire too poor to pay its debts? Or is it too cheap? Lightsaber action, and they go at it. I have to give Homegirl credit though. Having the confidence to go up against Lord Vader himself without any pullback. Sometimes that can be tricky, but you have to know the fine line between confidence and arrogance. Despite Vader complimenting her on her lineage and training, there's one thing that Qi'ra failed to acknowledge, and that is she doesn't know how to use the Force. Vader uses the Force on Qi'ra, still having some fight left. She lets out these explosives to escape from Vader. Vader tells her that it's a feeble attempt, and boom! The explosion releases a Force hold on Qi'ra, and she's able to go back for round 2. Nothing about me is feeble! Nothing, says Qi'ra. As they continue to fight, Boba Fett is nearby waiting to take a shot on Vader. Before he can take his shot, Lando pulls the trigger of his blaster to Vader unsuccessfully, and this turns Vader beast mode. OMG, bro, you pissed him off. Now here we go. Vader goes, will anyone else tell you what I cannot do? I will take who I like, I will kill who I like, and as he is about to take her life, he senses Luke Skywalker's presence. He's above Chakara, letting Leia know that he is almost there. Meanwhile, Lady Qi'ra has to quickly get up out of there while Vader is distracted. Funny how she acknowledges that she was a bit overconfident when it comes to Sith Lords. When duh, but you still got my respect, homegirl. General Ramodi informed Vader that the Admiral has established a secure channel and its patched into Vader's local communication per instruction. Now he's able to establish communication with Luke Skywalker. As always, I got to leave a little meat on the bone here, but Vader tells Luke that he and him have unfinished business, and he gives Luke an ultimatum and just begs for another issue. And I got to say, very enjoyable read. This issue, I love when there's issues when it's just like, you know, straight up fighting, straight up clapping back, comebacks, and just going at it. You know, establish the, you know, the premise and the story with the first couple issues, but give me a fight in some issue. I just want to see fighting. I love that stuff. In this issue, this is where we are. Han Solo is in carbonite delivered to Qi'ra. She fought Darth Vader. She lost to Vader. Now he currently owns the right to Han Solo and threatens to destroy Han if Luke Skywalker doesn't meet with him. Clearly, Vader is not messing around as his lightsaber is inches away closer to Han's death. Leia is helplessly watching and calls out to Luke, but Luke is not ready to fight him, as he says over the intercom. Leia decides if Luke can't help, she's going to take matters into her own hands and asks Chewie and Lando and fills him in on the plan. She'll distract Vader with shots, and they jump down and hit him from the ground and use the troopers for cover. Lando is clearly not buying the plan as Vader took on Qi'ra, one of the best hand-to-hand fighters he's ever seen. He reminds Leia, what chance do you guys have based on that? Luke steps in on the intercom, tells Vader, you want me? Come and get me. Luke reassures Leia that Vader won't kill Han because he's too valuable a rebel target. Luke is not ready to fight Vader face to face, but I know what he wants, and he wants me, Luke Skywalker. Vader gives the order to have Han brought aboard the Star Destroyer and prepares his fighter. The plan worked. R2 and Luke will keep Vader busy while they figure out how to save Han. When is Boba Fett going to make an appearance? Because that's his bounty, right? Meanwhile, Baku was bitching at Jabba about letting Vader take Han despite Jabba winning the auction. Bruh, did you not see what just happened? Jabba has to let it happen. In the grand scheme of things, the relationship with the Hutts to the Empire matters more than any prize. Even Han Solo, Jabba leaves as he's not having this argument. Boku feels that letting Vader take Han is an insult and makes them look like fools and weak in front of the other syndicates. Despite others telling Boku to calm down, Jabba won the auction and he made a decision for the benefit of everyone. He clearly feels that Jabba's decision is okay if it only pertains to him. He feels his decision risks the reputation of the clan and their ability to do business and to project strength in future negotiations. That's a tough one right there, and you can see he will not stand for this. As Han is getting loaded to the ship by Vader's men to be transported to the Star Destroyer, there goes our boy Boba Fett watching from a distance. Someone pulls up behind Boba. He turns around and tells Dengar that it's a bad idea to get it between a man and his target. You might end up as collateral damage. Dengar is confident that Boba won't fire and or blast his missile because Boba will be caught in the fire too. He tells him to put his hands on his head and to get down on his knees. Wait a minute, bro. Where we going at with this? Joking aside, Boba doesn't have time for that bull job. Dengar asks Boba to get on his knees and heads once again. Boba's patience is tested again, and he tells him ever since Jabba dropped the bounty on his head, he's been getting attacked by nobodies, obviously insulting Dengar. Turns out he has backup. Valance, another nobody. Okay. Jokes aside, the bounty on Boba's head is obviously a substantial amount. The battle begins. No pay-per-view needed. While this shootout ensues, Dengar lands on a piece of ice and is stranded. He asks the enemy for help. I guess in this case, they would be enemies. Boba sees a shot and he's about ready to take it until Valance comes behind him. Boba tells him to help his friend and he reveals his true intentions. Han is his friend, and that's who he's interested in. He doesn't care about Jabba as the bounty. He wants to rescue Han. When he asks where Han is, Boba looks at the ship transporting Han and tells him, you're a little too late. Meanwhile, we got Princess Leia, Chewie, and Lando on the Falcon trying to figure out a way or devise a plan on how to get Han Solo. They know if that ship makes it to the Star Destroyer, they'll never get Han back again. So many people want Han. Leia, Boba, all the bounties, the Jabba. It is just too many people at play here. Luke comes in and he's like, hold on, Leia, I'm right here, but I need to focus right now. And Leia's like, Luke, what happened? I'm fighting Vader right now, but he's got to hold off as long as he can. And Vader is out for blood because he's been wanting this for a long time. So meanwhile, Boba and Valance are just discussing, okay, look, we're here. We both want Han. That's the rebels right there going after him too. A lot of powerful people want Solo. Here you and I are with our sitting on our thumbs thinking of something. So instead of you and I working against each other, we both want Han Solo. Let's work with each other. He is obviously not feeling this, and he tells you know, I should just kill you where you stand. Perhaps. But you know what? We both are good. Boba tells him, I don't offer this plan to everybody. And I don't work with anyone, but I'm willing to work with you. Let's work together to get Han Solo. And then guess what? Once we get them together, if you want to shoot me, shoot me. But you know what? Or I shoot you. We'll let that play out when it's time for it to play out. And then Then he tells him, you should be dead for everything you've done. Someday I will be, but today, here I am, and they're trying to figure out a way to get up the planet. This issue plays out, it's a lot of tie-ins, and I gotta be honest, I'm not too familiar with all the tie-ins. I'm a casual Star Wars fan, but I had to pick up this comic. And when you go through this comic, I gotta leave a little meat on the bone if you did decide to purchase the comic. Link in description, by the way. There's a lot of hands, and the twist at the end where you just know this is going to be epic showdown for issue number 5, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. If you're a casual Star Wars fan like myself or an avid Star Wars fan, this is a fun read and you will enjoy the heck out of this issue. If you're a casual Star Wars fan, just go with the flow because you will enjoy the heck out of this issue as well. And then just wait at the very edges of your seat for the next issue to come out. You're going to really enjoy this issue. But with that being said, in this issue, I'll start off where we previously left off with issue number 4. Han Solo is currently frozen in carbonite and in the grasp of the Empire, but the rebels aboard the Millennium Falcon plan to take him back. They are not the only ones looking to recapture Solo, though. Boba Fett and Valance are both on a collision course with the Falcon and the Imperial shuttle holding Han Solo. But neither group were expecting the Hutts to come in with an entire armada. So in the shuttle, we get a transponding message from General Modi and the cargo for delivery to by the orders of Darth Vader. Their engines are inactive due to an intrusion, and it's because of Boba Fett's EMP blast has shut down not only their engines, but the engines of the Falcon too. That way him and Valance can figure out a way to get on the shuttle and get Han Solo and reclaim his bounty from Jabba the Hutt. Now, meanwhile, the Hutts, they unleash this grappling hook to the shuttle and they hold it in place, and we got the shuttle hooked, and Lord Baku's like, yeah, you know, I'm about to claim my prize. Excellent. He's just thinking like he's about to have the dub right now, and he's jeopardizing their relations with the Empire. Baku is getting questioned by the other Hutts, and they're like, Baku, is this even wise? I mean, a gigantic Star Destroyer is out there. What if they retaliate? And he's like, look, man, we're just taking Han Solo back. We're gonna send his people back unharmed. It's not gonna affect anything with the partnership or our relationship with them. It's just mutual respect. This is nothing more than a mere conversation. Even they're like, huh? And then when they send other ships to the rescue, they're just like, I don't think they're taking it as a conversation. Baku, this is more like it's a fight. Now their fighters have engaged with the Hutts, and it's an all-out war. And even the Admiral and Admiral Pete's like, okay, what's up with the Hutts? And then also we see these other 2 ships, they're staying back, but we know they're not going to help the Hutts out, and we don't know what to do with them. Admiral Pete's like, okay, they're just petty criminals, you know, and their squabbles beneath our notice. They're just nothing. You know what? Just send the message to Lord Vader. This is a small matter. Let's just keep him in the loop, right? Meanwhile, Lord Vader is dealing with, I'm trying to get Luke Skywalker, and he's pissed that you guys should not disturb me for such insignificant. The activities of the Hutts are irrelevant to me. But if Captain Solo is not aboard the Executor by the time I return, I will require an explanation in person. And Lord Vader tells him, do not contact me again unless Emperor Palpatine orders it himself. I have a target of my own. And Luke is trying to maneuver, outduck, and outdodge Darth Vader. Now, Luke Skywalker opens up a channel to the Falcon, and he's talking to Lando, Leia, and Chewie. I don't ask why I had to let out the Chewbacca sound. I just had to. So he asked Leia for an update, and Leia's like, look, the Hutts, they're engaged with the Empire, and our engines are knocked out. It is an all-out war. Any second, the shuttle will be out of our range, and this is our chance to get Han Solo. But our engines are out, and we have to get them running so we can go aboard the ship or the shuttle and retrieve Han Solo. So Luke asks, did someone attack you, or is the Falcon just being the Falcon? And Leia tells Luke Skywalker, no, it's an attack of some seismic weapon, Lando thinks. But it was Boba Fett who did that. Now Boba Fett and Valance are in the distance, but close by. And Valance like, okay, good. You knocked out the Falcon, but how are we supposed to get to that shuttle? It's smack dab in the middle of this fight. And we're not going in there with all that firepower. So Boba Fett tells Lando, look, the shuttle's still deactivated. I can get up close, let off another seismic charge, knock out their ships, then we board, take Han Solo. Simple, right? It ain't that simple, because now the shuttle has power now, and the engines are running it, and Valance calls it out. And Boba Fett's like, look, man, there's always another option. And now Boba Fett's like, we can't get on the shuttle, then we'll just have to get on the Superstar Destroyer. Admiral Pete's having a conversation about, okay, Han Solo is now aboard the ship of the Star Destroyer, and the Hutts that survived, they're withdrawn. Should we press the attack? No, do not press the attack. Then they'll be endangering single Emperor pilots. We're not going to do that. The Empire can exact more revenge on the Hutts by adjusting the terms of the deal with them, and we'll hit them what the Hutts value most, which is their credits. Then they get message that they received the request to access board of the Star Destroyer, someone named Boba Fett. The file shows him registered with the Bounty Hunter Guilds, claims he's working for a mission for Darth Vader, and it's urgent. And then Admiral Pete's like, does he have access codes? Yes, slightly out of date, but they check out. All right, let him on board, and then we'll wait for Lord Vader to return, because at least it runs the least amount of risk of invoking a man's temper. So they let Boba Fett on board, and Valance is like, dude, they let us on board. I can't believe it. I told you, getting on was the easy part. Now getting to Han Solo, that's going to be the tricky part. Valance is like, dude, I hate that I have to trust you. Well, you have to, because we both have the same goal in mind, and that goal is to get Han Solo. He just has to trust Boba Fett. Now, Lando and Chewie are starting to get things on board with the Falcon. They're ready to go about it with the action. Let's do this, baby. Leia's like, okay, it doesn't matter now, because now Han Solo's aboard the Star Destroyer. We cannot get him. Lando's like, Leia, we'll figure out a way. We always do. And then as Princess Leia gives up hope, they get a channel saying, this is Imperial Star Destroyer Executive. You have been granted access to board the Territory Auxiliary Hangar 15D. Standby for coordinates and access codes. You're like, what the heck? That has to be a trap. They're giving us access to board the destroyer. Okay. And then the person on the other end hears that, says, if you're doubting that this offer is not made in good faith, the center of this message once stood where you are now. So Princess Leia's like, what does that mean? Lando's like, I don't know how, but I don't know why, but it's Kiera. She's trying to help us. She wants to save Han, but she stole Han. She's a criminal. Why would she? Well, and Lando's like, well, the thing is, back in the day, her and Han, Leia's like, what do you mean? What did they do? It's ancient history. I'll explain later, but it has something to do with the Crimson Dawn, and we're gonna go for it, all right? What do you say? Princess Leia's like, yeah, but they don't understand why an Imperial officer is helping them. And she just tells him, await the dawn. Like, you know, there's some things that happen here. Meanwhile, with Baku, he's just pissed that his people are just giving him crap about going after the Empire to get Han Solo. And he's like, you know what? What's Jabba the Hutt doing? He's back into tuning to throw parties and drink in his disgust. And we're not gonna go after what's rightfully ours. And they're telling him, look, Baku, you're taking things too personal. And remember, emotions are expensive. Another channel opens up and to communicate with the Hutts. And they're like, look, I appreciate what you did with the Imperial shuttle, Baku, but we're not quite done yet. I need the Imperials distracted and unfocused. You have to take it further. You have to take it all the way. And Baku's like, dude, it's the Destroyer. We don't stand. We don't have much firepower against the Destroyer. I know, Baku, but if there would be any other way, I will not ask for this for you. But this is what we need. Thank you very much. Await the dawn. And they're just like, you're really going to go through with this? Await the dawn? Yeah, we're going to go for it. So he just unleashes open power on the Imperial flagship. And even Admiral Pete's like, are they freaking kidding me? Remarkable. The Hutts are they silly? Are they on crack? What are they doing? Admiral Pete's like, okay, inform Lord Vader of the escalation. He will want to know. His lieutenant's like, I would, but Lord Vader was extremely explicit to not disturb him unless he were to be contacted by the Emperor himself, or it was a direct order from the Emperor himself. I see. Very well, Lieutenant. I'll open up a channel to Emperor Palpatine. Boba Fett and Valance get on the ship, and all hell's breaking loose. They're too busy to even notice these two guys just on the ship. So unaccounted for, and whatever, you know? So Valance lets him know, I've never been aboard a Star Destroyer this size, but I spent time on a regular version when I was in Navy for the Imperial. The Empire doesn't really like to mix things up, so I bet they designed the plan as ordinary as the other. So yeah, we should know where we're going, right? They make their way, they're getting closer to Han Solo from what it appears. Valance tells Boba Fett to watch out, and a droid comes in from behind him and chokes Boba Fett, and he's struggling. And Valance blasts the droid in the head and just knocks him out for the count. Valance asks Boba Fett, you okay? I'll be fine. But remember our deal, right? We work together to get Solo, but when the time counts, you take your shot and I'll take mine, right? And Valance says, yes, Fett, you were extremely clear. We're not friends. Don't worry. And Boba Fett's like, I wasn't worried. I just wanted to remind you. He throws a bomb like a stick combat balance, explodes and disables him for the count. And Boba Fett just reminds him, hey, you know, I just want to let you know, I know how to slice too. I appreciate the help. I wouldn't have found my way this easily without you. But if you want to take another shot at Solo, try Jabba the Hutt's palace, and that's where he'll be, or choose another line of work, because in other words, you suck, bro. Now our channel is open up to Lord Vader from Admiral Pete, and Lord Vader's pissed. Were my instructions not clear? I was to not be stirrable as anything less than the word from the Emperor himself, right? He's like, yes, very clear. I need to pass this message along to you. And his message is this: he considers the Empire's arrangement with the Hutts valuable, and he wants it preserved, but a message must be conveyed. He wants them cowed, not destroyed. Instead of using the Executor to eradicate the Hutt's armada and their entire fleet, he has ordered you to end the insurrection personally. And Lord Vader's like, all right, I understand. If it came from the Emperor himself, it will be done. And he tells Luke Skywalker, I will leave you now, young Skywalker. You're not skilled in the Force. It does not matter because I sense your fear. So when I come back, you are not a Jedi. You will never be a Jedi. Well, Luke's like, okay, well, not yet, but I will be. So Luke tells Princess Leia over the intercom, hey, Vader's gone. I held him off as long as I could, but he's going to be heading back to the Star Destroyer. Do you have Han? No, not yet. But now Princess Leia, along with Chewbacca, okay, I'll stop. I have to let it out. I can only see him doing that while he's blasting off the stormtroopers, along with Lando. But you know what? We're getting close, and they blasted off the stormtroopers. And there goes Han Solo right there. And he's just like, yes, we're here. We're almost so close. They're warned. Don't get too cocky. And as they defeat the stormtroopers, Princess Leia's like, oh my gosh, dude, I can't believe I almost gave up hope, you know, when you were aboard the Star Destroyer, Han. And then off screen, we see, no, you won't. Get away from my property. It's Boba Fett holding them up at gunpoint. And then we see this missile about to collide, and it just explodes an opening, and Han Solo gets leaked out into space, and now it seems like all hope is lost. I love this scene right here where Baku and the Hutts are held at gunpoint, and they're just like, dude, this is madness. Like, you launched a suicide attack, and then you're gonna get us all killed. And Lord Vader opens up with the lightsaber. He's like, yes, you will get yourself all killed, to show them a lesson and teach them a lesson. Back at the Star Destroyer though, Boba Fett puts on the jetpack and goes out into space, locates Han Solo, uses a grappling hook, strings him up with all of his strength, and goes out and just says, I am gonna collect my bounty. I'm out this piece, yo. So as always, I got to leave a little meat on the bone with this for you guys. Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunter issue number 5. To me, this was a fantastic and fun read. I am an average Star Wars fan, and if you guys want me to do more comic book reviews on Star Wars comics, let me know. I'll be more than happy to do so. And if you don't let me know, well, guess what? I'm just gonna do it anyway. There's so many things at play here that just, oh man, gives this book a whole lot of flavor and a whole lot of spice to me. You know, things didn't go as planned. Valuable allies and relationships are strained with the Hutts and the Empire. And the Crimson Dawn is behind it too. Not to mention, Jabba the Hutt originally commissioned Boba Fett to get Han Solo and Carbonite for him and offered him a lot of credits. And then he commissioned the Crimson Dawn to do it. He has his reasons for doing it, and he clearly explains that to Boba Fett, saying this was nothing personal. This was just business. I got a reputation to uphold, and I have to do it, you know? I don't know how this is going to affect the future Star Wars comics, but you know what? I'm definitely going to check it out. Yeah, this book is definitely worth the read. I was thoroughly entertained by it, and I'm an average Star Wars fan. And if I'm saying some of the names incorrectly, comment below, let me know. I'm all good with it because I do want to do more Star Wars comic book reviews for you guys. And link in description if you want to get the copy added to your personal comic book collection. With that being said, Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunter issue number 5. What did you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also, if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy, don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.